Ting 老师. She will talk about starting strong, collective wisdom from Chinese language teachers. Is a kind of shift, from what we have heard, but it's very valuable as well. Yeah, that please start.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Qixin. You can also call me Crystal. Thank you so much of Ivy as actually invited me privately and saying that my program, my interview is really worth to share to everyone. I was saying like I'm not really focusing on like teaching the students. I'm more focusing on the teacher itself. So I don't know if that would be something you're expecting to join uh, to hear what I'm sharing. Today my sharing will follow in a timeline. So why do I start this program and what I wanted to deal with? And just like we're planning about classes, we will start with our the program target and proceed and how I design a question and the interviewer background and outcome and the future adjustment for my program. So it's still a ongoing program. So even though here in the title is saying like it's from 100 teachers, but I still working on it. Here is all the teacher I interview, and I thank you very much about every single teacher who accepted my invitation and saying yes to be interviewed. So that would be something like really mean to me and all the uh, young new teacher just get into this industry. So why I start this program, it's based on my personal background. So I graduated during pandemic. That means that I couldn't actually really find a jobs like working in as a full-time teacher at school, and instead of teaching in the regular K to 12 school, I start my careers in online. So I was kind of so-called a freelancer teacher. Something really hard for teacher who teaching online is we don't have any communications with other opportunity with other teachers. So we are basically designing our class, teach our class by ourselves. So there's no learning and between each other peers. So that it's a little bit confused me and a little bit frustrating when I meet some questions and I don't know how to ask for help and who could I ask for. And even though during pandemic there are so many presentation like today, the presentation for me is more like a uh, one-way communication. Just like when we talk about Startalk, we wanted some interpersonal communication. So that's why I wanted to start this program because I wanted to create inner connections between all the teachers, and also I want to have a community to create to the new teachers so they know how to ask. And also sometimes the community in a group is tend to be academic. Like if you're sometimes for a new teacher, they have the hesitation to ask like the so-called silly questions because there are so many experienced teacher and they thought like their question is too simple, like they don't want to bother everyone in a group. So I want to create a more casual communities that everyone could share just a little bit tiny things that in my community, some new teacher might ask, how do I teach this idiom? How could I deal with this type of students? It's just very small questions, but they can get immediate feedbacks from other experienced teacher. So that's why I want to start this program. And so the project target is we wanted to support all the new teachers of Chinese as a foreign language because not everyone's like other presenters also present like their background is not teaching Chinese or even like second language acquisition. They might be teaching other like maybe teaching for Chinese for native speaker before they don't know about these kind of students. So they wanted to know more about this. I wanted to create a more knowledgeable place for them to ask question, and just like the environment we create to the student, I don't want the new teacher to feel like they need to ask a like very thoughtful questions, like they needed to reconsider it about their question. I want them feel free to ask. And also, I wanted them to get the ideas from the professional teachers, not just through the presentation. I wanted to, because if you are, when I choose for interviewer, I didn't on purpose choosing like the teachers with strong academic uh, backgrounds or with like over 20 years experience. I actually interview all kinds of teacher in this industry because people are getting to easier to relate it to people with similar backgrounds. Like if both of them are teaching heritage speakers, they have more connections between. And this video is kind of the starter. So for them to get to know this person and we have the connection to this person, we build trust, and then we get into a maybe deeper communication conversations about teaching this type of student or working on this type of like grammar question. How do I teach this grammar? So of course, at the end, I want to build a communities amongst these language educators. And of course, when I show about all the interviewer backgrounds, also you will find out that the teacher are actually working in all around the US. They are not really just staying in one place. So it's getting even harder for them to like have these kind of interpersonal communications. More than one new teacher mentioned that to me, like they wanted to have a more casual environment for them to learning from the experienced teacher instead of just the experienced teacher presenting what they're studying or their experience. Instead of that, they wanted to have these kind of back and forward communication. So that's how this project started and what I'm aiming to do. So getting to the designing process, just like what I mentioned before, I start with the target audience, and I also every single time before the interview, I would tell the experienced teacher so what our target audience is for this video, so they when they answer their question, they have the thought about, oh, I'm talking to a teachers, maybe they know nothing about Chinese teaching, they know nothing about their students. So what do you want to tell them before everything, so before they actually get into this industry, before they decided to choose language teacher as their future career. So their backgrounds, some majority of them are maybe already working, but as a individual tutor, so they don't have the chance to study from experienced teachers, or they are working in the weekend school. They don't have these academic backgrounds about learning or teaching second language. So, and I want to, another layer I want to add is not just giving them the knowledge about taking, uh, choosing language teacher as their career, is also like they are maybe lacking motivation. So they don't know. Some of the target audience is just new graduates from school, and they don't know if they should choose this. Even though they are learning second language acquisition, they don't know if they should choose language teacher as their future career or they wanted to change another career path. It's just they don't have that motivation to get in because of all people. If if some of teachers are actually getting in the main platform, I'm posting this video. It's on Xiaohongshu. It's Red No. It's a bit nowadays a little bit popular more in US. And many because nowadays is in between of the in the years of all the new high school graduated, they are choosing their major. There's so many posts like don't choose Chinese as a second language, don't choose this major, it's a disaster, you couldn't find a job, it's not a stable. So I wanted to use these kind of experienced teachers' personal experience to motivate them to, if you have these um, informations before you get into a career, maybe it's better for you to prepare for the difficulties throughout the way you become an experienced teacher. So that's the target audience. And for target interviewee, I actually didn't choose like so maybe some of them are new teachers, only have 1 to 3 years teaching experience, still adapting about everything happen in their careers, and some of them maybe mid-career teachers with some already have some of their experience on how to deal with these type of students, and there is a wide and experienced educators who are involving in curriculum design and teacher training. So all of these interviewee, I gave them many questions for them to share their strong personal stories so they could have the inner connection to the audience. This is very important. I focus in this interview and all whole video editing process. So here is the basic question I will ask for every single interviewee. So first is the personal connection. I ask them, what's your name? Like, what do you name prefer to use? And so that is same. Like, I want to establish a personal in communication between the interview and the audience. And then the next one is how long have you te been teaching Chinese? Because I want to show like how diversity experience perspective you will get from new teacher to like with 30 minutes 30 years experienced teacher. That will be extremely different when you get into their answer. You will see I would say I'll tell you a little bit about NSIs that all the teacher I feel like over 78% of teachers thought like the student is the most important, but compared to their backgrounds like their K to 12 teacher or their heritage speakers teacher, they have variety of perspective about how to perceive this and what motivate them to continue in this career. And next one is where do you currently teach? This is basically wanted to tell the audience about their target students. This will be also very important because on the analysis, I find out like um, I believe it's 20% of teacher are mentioned about classroom management and and all of them are from K to 12. So that would be something you would notice, oh, that's why that is a huge difference between K to 12 to college teachers because they are more focusing on like the corrections about the grammars, they're focusing more on the knowledge, but they don't need it to spend much of time on motivate the student to getting in the classroom because they needed the credit at university, so they don't need extra motivations or like games. So that is something you could figure out the difference between all kind of teachers. And something this one is also like what motivates you to start teaching Chinese. So this is something I want them to relate it to the new teacher related to what their experience right now. They might be experienced on like uh should I get into this careers? So if they know why other teachers are starting their career, maybe this is something will motivate them. Do I have the same motivations? Or I don't have all of these. So that would be something like for them to explore the diversity of entry point because even though for some very experienced teachers teaching in this industry for over 20 years, they start the careers in a coincidence. They are not actually tending to become a Chinese teacher at the beginning. It's just everything's maybe about their kids, or maybe they're moving into a new country. They have these teaching experience opportunities. They're not actually just aiming to do it. That doesn't matter. But they still in this industry. So something would motivate the new teachers. And next one is also about motivation, about long-term sources of why you still keep you are ongoing on this Chinese teaching career. This one is really interesting because many teacher also mentioned about like they're meeting so many difficulty and the student is the most important reason why they're staying in here because of all the feedbacks from their students. So last one is some advice for new teachers. So this will be very important if you are watch all these video and then you saw why they get into the industry. So that will be have a huge impact to what they wanted to share and what their perspective will be. It's really interesting. And about others is I actually have this interview for second round. So first round is right after my startup program in Toledo because I was about to introduce this program to all the new teachers, and then I realized that there's no more these programs next year. So I'm thinking about, yeah, then I should share what I learned from this program to everyone. So I create this program. And the second round, I actually joined the ACFO 2024 annual meetings, and I met so many my colleagues before, and I asked them if they could join my interview. And for the second round, I add a little bit more. It's a particle questions. So I want to have a bridge in between of the target interviewee and the audience. So actually, they ask something related to their teachings and about how to teach certain grammars, how to give the students more motivations, and how to teach first class, these kind of questions to also engage the experienced teacher to share more about their how do they deal with these kind of questions in Chinese teaching. So that's all the questions I asked for during the interview. And here is the interviewee background. So I'm still ongoing program. So this is I only interviewed 23 teachers. So I will very excited if any one of you in today's presentation wanted to get into my programs and wanted to be interviewed. I will be so excited to interview you. So here we have the years of their teaching. So majority of them are teaching, I think 50% of them are teaching from 6 to 15 years, and 80% of them are K to 12 teachers. And I believe there will be overlapping for the last one. So some of the teachers teach both heritage speaker and non-heritage speaker, or in some of their careers in early path, they are teaching heritage speaker and then they're moved to a public school. So there are some overlaps in the last one. And so here is where my interviewees teach. So they're all around the US. So this is also, it's very hard for them to have these kind of in-person communication because majority of the presentation or online seminar, they're more using presentation instead of in-person communication, or it's hard to adjust the perspective. Like when you get into a seminar, you might expect that you hear someone to present instead of you sharing your personal experience. So this is something it's hard to match the perspective to like the to the audience and the presenter. So that's why I choose this program. And so when I get into the outcomes, I don't want it to have assumption. So I don't want to like just capture some keywords from teachers and then I assume that they are more focusing on like student center or something. So what I'm used to do to analyze their words is I choose some high frequency words, what they mention in their answer. So the most frequent words is student. So every single interviewees are mentioned about student. So that's how important students in throughout the teachings. We always talk about we need to prepare class for students. We need to know their needs, their age, their goals. So that's why I put it in the first because heard all of the teacher are talk about this and also have because we have certain questions. So in under the questions, what keep you ongoing in Chinese teaching? 78% of teachers believe it's students gave them the motivation to continue teaching. And we have another related to student is they believe knowing the student understand them. And we have positive reinforcement like encourage, reward, motivation will be very important to the student. And just like what I mentioned before, the K to 12 teacher are more focusing on the classroom management. They thought this is one of the difficulties the new teacher will go through. So I have some post title here, see their keywords for their interview. And next one about learning professional. So uh, like 50% of teachers are actually believe like lifelong learning. So it's very important for new teachers. So they need to keep learning, like no matter we're talking about AI today, the technology and all the new teaching methods, it's very important for them to continuing their careers in language teaching. And the most important part, almost every teacher mentioned is you have to have the good mindset. You have to be in love with teaching, in love with the students. You have the passion, enthusiasms, love. That's how you keep going on teaching because teaching are not leading you to a we're talking about like we need to have uh the wealthy like wealthy life. Teaching are not leading you to the wealthy life, but because of your loving so love the teacher and teaching the students, you're staying in this career. And next one, we are talking about culture, and 50% of teachers believe the mission of transmit the culture to the next generation is why they're still continuing teaching. And we're learning about the inherited language teacher are more focusing on the culture to pass to the next generation. So we can see the difference between all kind of teacher. They are more focusing on this mission. And nowadays, all the topics, all the online seminars or conference, we're talking about technology, AI, but surprise me, not many teacher are talking about these when they are what give advice to new teacher. They're more focused on student, they're more focusing on your mindset instead of the technology. So we know like this is more like something adding on. This is not something you could keep you in this path, but something when you're doing lifelong learning, you need to learn it. But the most important one is it serve your student? Is it serve to for your mental health to continuing on this career? So, and next one is what kind of social media platforms I choose to upload all of these video. I choose majority of them. I start with Xiaohongshu because their target audience is it's actually some like women in the big cities or overseas Chinese. So I use this platform because this closer to majority of the Chinese teacher teaching overseas alone. They don't have like many connections with other, even though we're not talking about like freelancer teachers, even though teachers in school, many school in suburb or like more countryside area, they might be the only foreign language teacher in school, or even though it maybe there are two, they're focusing on different grade. They don't have many chance to prepare class or talk about their students with their peers. They're majority designing their curriculum by themselves. So that is the whole programs are aiming to. And I'm also uploaded in WeChat because of our community is actually a WeChat group. So this is more casual environment for them to share. So I also upload it to a WeChat channel. And also Bilibili, I have the because of the first two would be like short video platform, and this one is kind of long video platform. So I have like five stu teachers interview. We'll put it into a one video so for them could look over it and learn from everyone. So this is like mainly focusing on Chinese teachers. So I'm choosing this instead of like Instagrams or YouTube. Yeah. These are the program. And for the future plans, here is some extra interview question I actually asked in my community, asking my target audience what kind of question you want me to ask to the experienced teacher in US. And these are the question I collected and I sent it out to the interviewer and they answer majority of the questions. So they have these kind of, even though it's a non-spontaneous communications, but they get their questions and they give the proper answers for them. So they have the connections. And I will, next steps, I will create more community events and I wanted to ask to them, according to all these 23 teachers you are learning from their videos, who you want me to invite it to have these kind of interpersonal communication sharing to our community. This is something I will do it later. And I also open for any suggestions, like if it will be better for my programs. And thank you so much for everyone being interviewed, and thank you so much for listening. And yeah, uh, 郑老师 and I know 陈老师 don't want to be say 陈老师, so 大宝老师 is also one of my interviewees. So thank you so much. And if you have any question or if you want to watch the videos, here is the name of my account. Yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Sorry, I kind of like eat up many Q&A times. So I only have 4 minutes for Q&A.
Yes, so please now open your microphone or type in the chat box about your comments or questions.
Thank you. I saw you guys have many kind words in the WeChat because another chat. It's like I don't know. It's just like I kind of like instinct for me to start this program and project. I believe that will be benefits to many teachers. So I started, but I don't know how this project will go. And I kind of like stopping for a while for editing the videos and everything. Yeah, but I still wanted to, if one day I could accomplish my target to interview 100 teachers. Yeah.
Yeah. So what surprised you most after interviewing so many teachers?
Um, it's I would say the technology is something very surprised me. Like because there's so many online seminars and I would say like the conference we're focusing on all of the teaching methods, all of the technology we're using, uh how it motivate our students. But when I get into the new teacher's advice. Not many, I would say few, only one or two interviewees are mentioned about the technology is important. Majority of them are maybe talking about lifelong learning. You need to keep learning about Chinese culture, or like how do we present it to the students. Yeah, so I would say I know the student center student is very important, so I didn't surprise about everyone I mentioned about student, but I'm surprised only few teacher are mentioned about the technology and how important we learn new technology. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a person, Crystal Zhang here. She want to join your project. How does that work? How
Yeah,
can,
so
yeah,
yeah,
contact you
normally,
or
yeah,
somehow?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, contact me will be, oh, I didn't actually give my personal information here, but yeah, if you could give me a direct message under this account, or you could sending me an emails like if there is I have a chance to have an in-person interview with you would be great, or maybe Zoom interview also work. Yeah, so send me emails or like just send me a direct message on my social media accounts. I will reply. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah. It's 23 only. So here is all the titles I have. So this is all the teacher I interview. Yeah. I heard Zhang Laoshi ask how many teacher I interviewed so far. Yeah. So I'm still I only finished 23% of my project right now.
Yeah, probably people didn't know about your project, so
Yeah,
they
right.
limited the
Yeah, right.
participants.
So yeah, because I in the very beginning I still wanted to do some in-person interview, so that will be have a better uh when we do the video, that would be better if we have like in-person interview. The view the creating the video showing the camera would be better. But yeah, so 田老师 saying I should publish a book. When I finish this project, yeah, when I finish the project with 100 language teacher, I might could write some essay. I don't know. I don't know. Publish a book, it seems like a big project again.
Yeah,
Thank
this is a very
you.
significant and meaningful for
Yeah.
teachers now in the field. Thank you
Yeah.
again,
Thank
Qixin.
you.